Hey everybody, it's Mr. Johnston here with a little bit of chemistry at home. And of course, before you try any of our experiments, you want to make sure you check with your folks and make sure it's okay with them. Everything that we're using here is things that you may have around your house, maybe you don't. If you do, you can give this a try. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to do decomposition. We're going to use some regular old hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is a chemical compound, H2O2, and we're going to actually get it to decompose a little bit faster by using a catalyst. Our catalyst in this one is yeast. And so here's how this is going to go. I'm going to pour a little bit of hydrogen peroxide into a dish. Now, hydrogen peroxide that we're using is actually a mixture. It's only 3% hydrogen peroxide. That means it's a mixture, mostly water, a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. And we want to get this hydrogen peroxide to decompose. It does so very, very, very slowly by itself, but we can get it to go faster if we add something like yeast. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of yeast into my hydrogen peroxide. And it may not look like much, but if you look closely, you'll see lots of tiny, tiny little bubbles where the yeast is. And that yeast has an enzyme in there that makes the hydrogen peroxide decompose, and those little tiny bubbles are oxygen gas. If you've ever had like a cut on your elbow, you scraped your elbow or something, maybe you had to pour hydrogen peroxide onto that cut, and you notice those same bubbles that the hydrogen peroxide is making when it interacts with the yeast. Experiment. And now we would like to be able to take a look at the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide on the molecular level. And so I have this simulation pulled up on my computer. This is Adam Smith simulation. And first thing I want you to notice is we have the balanced chemical equation up here. So kind of in the top left corner of your screen, you should see 2H2O2, that's hydrogen peroxide. So that's 2 molecules of hydrogen peroxide makes, that's the arrow, 2H2O, that's water, plus O2, and that's oxygen gas. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually make this reaction happen. As these hydrogen peroxide molecules move closer and closer, they're on a collision course. They collide, and those bonds break, and new bonds form. And so what I've done is I've taken those 2 hydrogen peroxide molecules and broken them down a little bit to make 1 oxygen molecule. That's the double red one. And 2 water molecules. I can see where the kind of grayish white circles and the red circles connect. Those are water. That's the reaction on the molecular level.